Welcome to our best practices webinar. I'm Karen, if I haven't met some of you before, and I started recently as our new chapter development manager. I'll be leading our session tonight, but I do have some experts here with me. Barbara Peterson and Ann O'Neill are on with me also. They'll be helping monitor the chat if people have questions as we're going. And Elizabeth, you're here with us as well, right?
Yep, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Before you
Awesome.
guys get going, this is Karen's show today. I'm so thrilled for her to host her first webinar with you guys. So I just wanted to give a couple words before passing it back over to Karen. First, thank you guys so much for joining today and participating. I appreciate your patience and open-mindedness as we're going over something that I think is a very wide variety of knowledge base in this organization. We have members that have done this every year for multiple years. We have some members who their league has done it, but the individual is new. And hopefully we have some new leagues in here that have never gotten best practices, but they want to give it a try. So we're trying to cover all bases without going and making it too daunting for anybody. So appreciate your grace in that as we're trying to make sure that this fits a large audience of our membership here at ABWA. Karen will go through more details, but there is a section at the end for Q&A, so we can kind of customize any sorts of answers that you might need. And of course, as I always say, our doors are open. Please always feel free to reach out to the national office with any further questions or as you go along in this process. So thank you again for being here and for committing to participate in best practices to better your league. And with that, I will pass it back to Karen.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. Let's get started. So this is just a little bit about our agenda. It's basically, like Elizabeth said, we're going to go over some of the levels of recognition, kind of talk a little bit about what practices is, why we do it, some changes that are happening this year, some changes that are happening in the future, and then, like Elizabeth mentioned, plenty of time for question and answers. For those of you that I haven't met yet, again, I'm Karen. I'm the new chapter development manager. I'll also be reviewing best practices this year. So this is going to be my first year kind of overseeing applications and going through what everybody sends in this year, of course, under the guidance of Elizabeth and the rest of the team. I'm also kind of focused on communications, e-newsletters that you've been receiving, and also kind of an increase in our social media presence, as well as meeting directly with any new or first year chapters or express networks. It's going to be kind of my specialty to make sure that people hit the ground running, have everything that they need. We have a new formation manager, Rochelle, as well. She'll be kind of helping get
Karen,
people formed and started.
Karen,
And
I'm
then,
sorry to interrupt you, but
sure.
there are several people saying that there is a really bad echo. I don't
Oh,
hear the echo, but there are several who are saying that they are hearing it. So
Yeah,
goodness.
and I don't
And
hear it either,
I
Barbara.
don't either. I would
Oh,
recommend if you're on a headset, I'd recommend perhaps trying again or checking the sound source for your computer or device.
gotcha. I don't think it's me. I just have one system up, so hopefully it's not me causing any of this. I don't have my phone on or anything. It's just my laptop. So, okay, so
okay,
we
I'm getting
are.
more people saying there isn't an echo, and somebody has recommended that if they're having an echo, they need to turn off their microphone.
That's probably a good option too, for sure. I think with the webinar setting, everybody's kind of muted, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the microphone is turned off. Moving forward, like Elizabeth mentioned, we're going to focus on the best practice applications today. Some of you may have done this for a number of years. Some of you may be brand new to the process and about to submit for the first time. We're happy to have people here with us that have submitted before. So if you feel like there's insight you want to share during the Q&A, that would be great. Or if people have questions along the way, feel free to jump in. Like I mentioned, everybody is muted, unfortunately, but you can ask questions through the chat. I'll have people kind of monitoring and helping me see the chat as we go. And then there will be a section closer to the end that is kind of open. And I think maybe I'll try to unmute everybody for that so people can ask questions. We're going to dive in and talk about the application process and really what best practices is all about. This screen, I'm definitely not going to read it. It's available online, but this is the why. This is how best practice was originally developed, what the goals were when they came up with this. And it was really to increase business acumen and develop skills to give our leaders, our women in this group, a competitive advantage in business. You have to kind of think back and remember when ABWA was formed in its early years, there were not nearly as many female business owners. There were a lot of rights and privileges that we did not have. And there was a very small percentage of business owners that were women. So this was really, again, kind of a breakthrough, leading the way, trying to give women this knowledge to help them become successful business owners. So best practices really became a way to practice things like budgeting, building a business plan, developing a board structure, and meeting financial obligations like filing taxes. So that's really where this comes from and why best practices came about. This screen again kind of goes over a little bit of the why, really to create consistency, require accountability among leagues, and it's really helped to sustain your league so that if you're following all of the things that you're reporting on, hopefully that means that you're going to have a successful organization and you're going to be around for many, many years. And then the last part of this, that last bullet, part of best practices also involves recognition at the national conference. That's coming up for this year. For us, it's September, the very end of September into October. And best practices really kind of reiterates intent and ensures integrity of this organization, the community, our leadership development. And it's about recognition. That's one of the tenets that American ABWA is built on. So we're happy to kind of have this as part of our structure that we stand on. The last thing that I just wanted to talk about was things that I've heard from leaders that I've talked to so far. And it's really that if you follow this, if you follow best practices and what we're asking you to report on, it's going to help the members come. It's good for growth. If you're kind of checking off all these bullets and doing the things that you're reporting on, it's going to help you stay successful. It's going to bring in membership, and hopefully it's going to sustain you, and you're going to have a thriving organization for years to come. We're going to talk a little bit about award levels. There's 3 levels here, the screen, and this will all be available, of course, after the webinar as well. It talks about what you need to show to achieve each level. It starts with you must be a league in good standing. And for anybody that's not familiar with that, this slide talks about what it's meant to be a league in good standing. This is all in that guide too, so it's not anything that you need to screenshot or take notes on. It's all available there. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, of course, but it really just describes the requirements to be a league in good standing. It includes things like filing your taxes on time, reporting officers and committees, paying your league dues, and submitting website agreements. There's also some very specific guidelines on the number of officers needed for both chapters and express networks, so for all leagues. So we'll go back here to talk about the levels again, be a league in good standing. And then the difference between the levels 1, 2, and 3 really comes down to how many members you have. You'll see that it starts at 50 and then 40 and 30. And then there's also, it gets kind of specific about the number of new members that you have to have during this most recent year. There are requirements for Apex courses, so completing some of those education courses available through Apex, there's requirements there. And also, I know that there's requirements about meeting registrations for the national conference, but as well as attending things like just-in-time meetings. I didn't get into the nitty-gritty of each meeting, but that's again in the guide. But just to be aware that these are some of the big ones, what they're requiring to reach the requirements for these different levels. The last one is to maintain the ABWA brand. I know that we've recently redone the brand guidelines, and we talked a little bit about this. We had a session at the spring conference. And if anybody didn't attend that or wants to review those materials are available on YM as well under National Resources. It has to do with things like your website and social media, and are you using the logos correctly? Have you updated everything from the older logos to the new logos? Things like that. Then I should say there's actually four levels. So there's level one, there's level two, there's level three, and then there's striving. This is really, are you striving to reach level three? So, are you turning in an application? Are you addressing each of the categories basically? And are you trying? It doesn't have to be perfect. We can definitely work with you if say this is your first year and you'd like to turn something in. We can guide you on areas where you may have questions or what does it mean to be striving. In my mind, it's basically a good faith effort. It means that you're trying to get to that level. You're maybe trying your first application, you're trying to get all the segments together, all of your meeting notes and things like that. And that if you turn something in, most likely you will achieve that striving level. And this is something that's also recognized at the national conference too. We do give out recognition for levels one, two, and three, but we also give out recognition for striving. So if you are a league that's considering turning in your application, I'd ask that you make sure that you have somebody coming to the national conference too, because again, they will be recognized on stage with everybody else. Our eventual goal here would be that we have all leagues that are at least in the striving status, at least trying out the process. I don't know that we're going to be successful with 100% this year, but that's kind of our long-term goals is to get there. This year specifically, I'd love to work with anybody who's a new league, somebody that just started recently, or this would be their first year. Please feel free to reach out and we can help you with that. So there are some changes. So new this year. They've changed, Elizabeth has told me that we've changed the number of conference attendees. So that's a difference that you may notice from last year's application to this year. That would be things like number of attendees at the national conference, attendance at things like Just in Time or some of the other meetings. I don't have a comparison of those two, but anybody who did look at the application last year, you would be able to see the difference from all of the materials for this year. And then I think the biggest change, probably the reason why some people are here on the call is that we're accepting applications digitally this year. This is exciting. We've heard from people that this would be an easier process to complete. People have kind of been asking for it for years, so we were really happy to make this happen, to make this change. I should note right away, though, that it's an option for this year. If you're more comfortable filling out, a paper folder, mailing it to the national office, that's fine. You can absolutely still do that this year. I'm not sure about years to come, but for this year, we can definitely accept paper applications. It would be in the same binder kind of format we've done before. But if you are interested in submitting digitally, what we did is we worked with our IT team and we created an upload link for everybody that submitted last year. So you should have gotten an email from me. It would have come from Karen, and it talked about best practices for this year. And it would have had a link that says this is your individual upload link. And that is just for you. So that'll go to a file on the cloud where you can put your documents, and really the only person to see them will be whoever is submitting and me and anybody at the national office. So it's not available to anybody else. It's kind of like a solo link, a solo place for you to put your materials to be reviewed. If there are leagues that didn't submit last year but are interested in submitting this year, maybe this would be their first year or they've taken some years off, that is absolutely fine as well. Contact me, we'll make you a link. Just where we started, the place that we started the process was just to work with people that have done it last year. But again, absolutely open to anyone. Just contact me if you haven't seen a link yet, and we'll send one to you right away, and we can get started. I guess one of the things that we should mention, though, is about submissions and these digital links. We haven't set them up in a way where you have continued access to them. So, what that means is once you submit documents and you kind of use the upload link and send them to the cloud, that's where they live and you can't get them back. Not to say that they're gone forever. We can get them back to you, but there's not a way that you, as this person who submitted, can go in and say, oh, I want to take a look at all of my documents and what they look like. It's not really how it works right now. That's something that we'd love to change for next year so that you'd have access time to go back and see things. But for right now, kind of once you hit submit, it goes away. And if you want to see anything, just reach out to us.
Hey,
I don't want
Karen,
this to be, yes, go ahead.
there's a question in the chat. It asks
Sure.
who the link goes to at the chapter, the upload link.
Oh, that's a good question. I believe the list I sent out to was presidents. So I know that it may not be presidents, may not be the ones who are submitting the applications, but that's who we sent the link out to.
Can that link be transferred to other people in the chapter? And if there are more than one
Absolutely.
people submitting documents, can more than one person use the link?
Yep, that can be shared. So if there's a team of people or another person that does the application, absolutely, you can forward that email and say, here's the link. People can use that. And then I think our last few bullets there really focus on changes. Again, we don't want you to think that you can't ever touch your documents again. If you submit something and you're afraid that something's incorrect or you want to make a change, maybe it's, new information that you have, just reach out and we can get it back to you. Especially with the changes this year, I think it's going to be very flexible in, getting back to people. And if there's something that didn't come through right or doesn't look right, we're going to reach out. Basically, this we're going to make it as friendly as possible, and it's not once you hit submit, that's your last chance. That's definitely not how it's going to go. We'll be double checking everything. That'll be me and Elizabeth and the team at National, and if we notice things or have questions or something maybe didn't come through right, we'll be in touch with you. So there's definitely options to get this right. I wanted to talk a little bit about where to go for some of these resources and what it looks like. Basically, to start your best practices application, you would log into YM. One of your first major tabs there is for national resources. And then there's a submenu here for best practices, and that's where the guide is. This is what the document looks like here on the right. This is where you start. This kind of talks about best practices. It has that breakdown of the levels like we saw on the previous screen, and it's got some instructions on how to submit everything. So this would be a good download, a good place to start, would be to go and get this guide. There we go. After you get the guide, also in YM, also under National Resources, there's a menu here called Annual Planning Resources, and this is where you can find the document on the right called Forms. Um, it's forms all put together, so it's actually a packet of multiple forms. And this is things that you'll need to fill out your application. So this first page is kind of like, I don't want to say a page of contents, but it's a starting place basically, where it has some basic information. So you'll fill this out, and this will be one of the first things that you submit. So this packet is full of things like this that we're showing. This is just the first page. In this packet, in the packet of forms, there's also the organization of submissions. This should look familiar. I don't think this has changed much from previous years. It is organized by tabs, but I really feel like that's more from when it was being printed and kind of put into a binder. So there would be tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, and all the papers would kind of fall underneath that. We can keep things the same digitally. We just ask that you name your files something that relates to the tabs. So you can either put these pieces together into one PDF and kind of upload it as, all right, this is tab 1 and everything that falls underneath it. Or if you want to do individual files, that's fine as well. For the first one, you would just call the file tab 1 submission form, or tab 2, this is new members. So as long as it makes sense as far as where it'll go, so that when I go into your folder, I can see things that are either called tab 1, tab 2, so that when I print everything, kind of I know what I'm looking at and it's in order. So if anybody has any questions about that, just let me know. We put a little bit of information about that in the email that was sent out as well. And in that email, you got a link, and if you click on the link, this is what it looks like. It's very basic. It'll bring you into Microsoft. It'll say upload your files here. It should have your league name in there as well. You select files from your computer, and then I think you hit OK, and it's uploaded. So it's pretty simple. Again, once you click that link, this is where it's going to take you. It looks kind of generic, but I promise that it's real. We use Microsoft. That's kind of our platform for everything. So we have a special part of our cloud that's designated to all these folders. This is kind of changes looking ahead. We don't have to be too concerned with this year. Again, this is things kind of like next application year and beyond. We're going to keep building out tech for this because we really like going digitally for applications. I really feel like that's beneficial to everybody. Of course, one of the first things that we'd like to change is for people to be able to see their submissions once they've been uploaded. So that's something we're definitely working on for next year. Um, let's see here. We'd also like to work on more forms that kind of are held in our files that you don't have to upload. So I know best practices, it includes a lot of pieces of paper, a lot of files, a lot of forms. It would be great if we had more of those. And I think it has started in the fact that we now have meeting attendance. So if you came to Just in Time or you came to the spring conference, we have those lists at National. We know who came, which means you don't have to upload those. So that's the kind of thing that we want to continue. So as you come to meetings or as you complete your Apex courses, which I think that one works this year too, we know who's completed courses and you don't have to upload as many lists. So that's kind of our main goal moving forward is just to make this kind of seamless, as easy as possible. And the more information that we can hold, the better. I think that would be helpful to everyone involved. Help, where to find it. Okay, so this can be anybody. It doesn't matter if it's your first year, your 10th year. If you have questions, these are some places you can go. This is our main national website address that goes to Jill and Barbara in our main offices. You can contact me directly. You can contact Elizabeth directly. We're here to answer questions for this. I did want to also point out, though, our ambassadors and our district vice presidents, they're here to help too. So if you have a good relationship or it's somebody that you can even see in person, kind of regionally, locally, definitely reach out to these people too, because they are here. I'd say, especially if it's your first year, this is something you're trying for the first time, try to set a meeting with one of these people. It can be virtual, it can be in person, but they can help you through the process, answer any questions. Kind of if you want somebody to look over your application before you submit everything, there's lots of people here that want to see as many people as possible be successful in this. So please do reach out. The note here at the bottom says there's still time to process, and I think that's true. If you have all of the pieces already happening, so say you've done everything with taxes, you have all of your meeting notes and attendees and who was where, it's really a lot of collecting materials and uploading them, and you've got time, is the bottom line. The deadline for this, we'll talk about this later, is at the end of July, so you do have a few months. So if you're thinking about starting, I'm saying that you can do it, and I think that this would be a great time to try. I think, oh, somebody has their hand raised, and I'm not sure if I know how to do that. Let's see.
We do have a couple of questions here, Karen.
Okay.
There is one that was asking, is there a maximum file size that has to be adhered to?
There is not one that I know of. So if we get up against that, if we're reaching that limit, I'll definitely let everybody know. But our IT did not give me any kind of limit so far.
Okay, and then somebody else asked if they can create subfolders.
Oh, good question. I think so, as long as you can upload a link to that. So if your folder can all be created and you can somehow zip that into one link, absolutely, it can be organized any way that works.
Okay, and then there's one other one here that says, what is the statement referring to? There is still time to process an application. Are you referring to the package itself?
Yes, process is probably the wrong word there. There's still time to complete an application.
Okay. I don't know if that answered the question that of the person who had their hand raised. Anne, did you see any other questions in the chat?
I did uh said the question was if they're already uploading documents to the annual planning documents and resources, um, should you not be able to pull the information from there as part of best practices?
So they're talking about an upload that would have happened already.
They do this on their member portal under their chapter. They upload documents to the chapter documents there. or league documents. And they're saying if they're putting all of this information in there, why do they have to do it again on another portal?
I think that makes sense. That's one of those questions I'll probably check with Elizabeth on, though, and something that I didn't mention. And you had graciously agreed to kind of compile questions for me. So I think
I
what we're going
am.
to do, awesome. What we're going to do then after this meeting is kind of compile all the questions and the answers to them, and we'll make that available on YM too. So let me get a definite on that, but it seems to make sense to me that if it's already been uploaded, it already exists there. We could check there, but I want to be 100% sure. So I'll get back to you.
Karen, another one they have is can you upload a few documents at a time or you have to do it all at once?
You can do a few at a time. It may ask you to upload them. Like when you click the link, you can select multiple documents and then hit upload. That's fine. You can do them individually, one at a time. That's fine too. If you wanted to take documents and combine them into one PDF so that it's one PDF with multiple pages, that's fine too. I'm kind of okay with however you can get them into that link. That works. Think we might actually be exactly. We're at the point of questions. So, on the call with me, if you've not heard them already, we have Barbara Peterson, our current national president. We have Ann O'Neill, our 2025 president. They are here to kind of go over some things with you and also answer questions. But I think let's start with the slides that we have, and then we'll go into questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. So, one of the important things that we have to do as a league is really to not only are we out there recruiting, sharing our stories, but we are also trying to keep our league sustainable along with the members that we have. So, it's very important that we monitor and we track our member loss rates. So, we have the monthly report talks about how we track our members that are showing up to our meetings and also how many members that we're getting through our recruitment process. And then at the end of the year, you will compare your, I'm going to use June 2025 roster and your June 2026 roster since it's just around the corner, right? So, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the number of members that have maybe not renewed or that they've dropped off your roster for whatever various reasons, you will take that number and then you will divide it by the number of primary members that you have on your June 2026 roster. So let's say I lost 6 members for whatever reason. I had 50 members. So my loss ratio will be 12%. So it's really important that you monitor that and you can take a look at that, even month over month so that you can kind of stay on top of that because you don't want to wait until like the last minute, right? And you're like, why did we lose all these members? So it's really important that and you also maybe want to do exit interviews too, is because then you find out why maybe they left or things like that. But it is important to stay on that top of that as well as we want to make sure we're keeping our members and we have a strong chapter. So we're bringing members in, but if you're losing more than you're bringing in, your loss ratio will be greater. Karen, I'm going to turn it over to Barbara right now, and she's going to share some additional information.
Thank you, Anne. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about is member engagement and participation and how do we motivate our members and get them to buy in to what we're doing here. So the first thing is renewing their membership. And this is something that needs to be happening all year long. It does not need to wait until renewal time. And the way you can help this process is to help members feel they're connected and valued and included in everything that you do. So be sure you're using the member interest survey, which is part of best practices, to check in with members who miss meetings and to mentor members on opportunities to become engaged. The member interest survey is probably the most important thing because you want to make sure that you are creating an experience in your league that the topics that people are interested in. So that's really important that you're doing that. And then you make sure that the people are really receiving the value of their membership. So the next one then is registering for and completing Apex courses. So be sure you're promoting Apex at your meetings regularly and in any communications that you send out, whether you're sending out reminders each month or newsletters, especially since there are new courses that are continually being added. I don't know if people have stopped opening their emails when you see the Apex things, but there are new courses that are coming out, and several of them have been offered as the free monthly courses this
Yes.
year. So be sure you're taking advantage of that. Many leagues are creating challenges and accountability groups, and even offering gift card drawings to encourage participation. And honestly, almost every class offers at least one takeaway, whether it applies to you personally or professionally. Um, the next thing is the newsletter publications. Newsletters help keep our members connected between meetings, spotlight members, celebrate accomplishments, showcase businesses, share photos and upcoming opportunities, and get members involved by contributing content. The more members see themselves reflected in the newsletters, the more they're going to become engaged. Attendance at meetings, webinars, and conferences. This is the most important part here. So if you aren't attending, you aren't making the most of your membership. It's now easier than ever to find meetings and topics that fit your schedule through the national calendar. Make sure your league is advertising meetings on those calendars on the ABWA Facebook members on Facebook page and also on the YM platform. And also consider fundraising efforts to help your members attend district and national conferences because those experiences can be truly life-changing. And anybody who's ever been to conference knows how valuable they are. And National is working really hard this year to make Sugarland one of the most impactful that we've had in a long time. So make sure that you're planning on that and make sure that your leagues are working on fundraising efforts to get people there. So in closing, I just wanted to show that some of the greatest opportunities in ABWA happen when we simply show up. If you're not showing up, you're not getting any value of your membership. And Warren Buffett said it best, the best investment you can make is the investment you make in yourself. And ABWA is an investment in yourself. So please enjoy it.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. I think we're going to open it up to questions. It says here to please use the raise hand feature, but I'm honestly not sure how to look at those raised hands or kind of call on people. So we can put them into the chat. I think that's a great way to put them in, or you can message us. That works too. But we have a little bit of time if there's other questions.
So there were other questions in the chat if you're interested. They want to know if they can create subfolders under the categories.
I think that would work as long as you're able to upload them in that way. So if you can upload an entire folder, whether it be a zipped file or just as a folder, I think that's fine, as long as it works through the upload. And if you're having problems with the link at any time, of course, you can reach out to us. I think probably reaching out to me directly is easiest since I was involved in setting up those links. We do have an IT team through Big Red M and ABWA that kind of helped us with all of this. So yeah, if there's any issues kind of putting things in, just let us know.
The next question we had is, can anyone apply for Striving, or is this only for first year chapters?
No, anybody can apply for Striving. It's kind of like the first level, basically under 1, 2, and 3. So that is open to anyone.
And if there's an error in uploading your documents, will there be a notification sent to the chapter, or how will they know there was a problem?
Yes, I think this year, especially because we're new to the digital upload process and we're making changes to the application process, we'll reach out to you. So, like I said, when you hit submit, it's not that you're never going to hear from us again or like that's your last chance. If we notice that something is missing, we'll let you know. Or if there was something that, wasn't completed or maybe didn't make it through the upload process, we'll definitely talk to you. Again, that'll probably be myself or Elizabeth or Barbara or Jill.
All right, those are the questions I grabbed. Here's one that says, when is the deadline to submit per best practices?
It is July 31st. I think, let me see here. We'll do this one first. So, Elizabeth usually ends our webinars with just some dates to remember, which I think is great. One of these is a listed deadlines. You see the ones here, and we've been talking about those in our newsletters each week too. And then it does show July 31st. That's definitely the date. So, what I would recommend is maybe trying to get it in before July 31st. That way, if we do have to go back and review anything, or if there's something that needs to be adjusted, we can take care of that. That would be great. The links are live now, so you can actually start submitting documents or pieces now. They'll come right through, and I'll get notifications when they come in. So now through July 31st. What else is on our list? Oh, just events. So we do have a president's call coming up that's open to all current presidents and newly elected presidents as well. You'll get a private invite to that. I don't think it's listed on YM just because it's not a meeting for everyone. It is just for presidents. So you'll get a link for that. And definitely we've got September 30th. That's the beginning of NWLC. There's going to be a lot of information that comes out about that in the coming months as we start to announce keynote speakers and some of our sessions. But tickets are on sale now, and I should note that there is early bird pricing through August. That's live and in effect now. And then also, if it's your first year, if you're a new member, there's a discount available for that as well. If you haven't seen anything about that, just reach out to the national team and we'll make sure that you get that discount as well.
There were
There's
several people that had requested that we put the member loss ratio calculation.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's something that we can go ahead and publish that on
Sure.
YM and also on the
Yes.
FAQs.
I think that would be great.
so there was a couple more questions. Can you use the link more than once? So could you upload a tab at a time and then finish it out later?
Yes, it kind of exists as in an open status, so the link will not go away. So if you submit a document or a handful of documents or a folder, and then you come back the next day, the link will still be live and able to accept things. I will check on that limit. I don't know that there's a limit, but if there is one, I'll let you know. But I would think that it's going to be large. So basically, yes, you can keep submitting documents at any time. It won't close maybe until August. So once that July 31st deadline hits, I'm sure we will pick a close date for those links, but it'll likely be in August.
And does the person who's uploaded it receive a confirmation email or some form of confirmation that it was received or uploaded correctly?
That's a good question. I'm going to add that to the FAQ too, because I'd like to know that yes, there is a notification, at least that it went through. So as you're clicking things kind of into the link, does it say document received? Does it, give you a notice when you're finished? I'll look into that and let you know because I'm curious about that too.
Okay, and we have one more question here. It says, can regional attendees be included in the number for the National Women's Leadership Conference?
Regional attendees. Um, so that would that be somebody that's not affiliated with a league?
No, um, it says, can regional attendees be included in the number for National Women's Leadership? So the attendees you have going to a conference or saying, can that be part of the count versus people who are attending National Women's Leadership Conference in person?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let me answer that one in the FAQs too, because I want to make sure that I have the right answer.
There's a question here about confirming the conference discount is for new members attending or first timers. It is just for new members, not first timers.
Correct.
And the question here, Karen says, where can we find organization of submission form?
So it's in YM. It's under national resources. And that was the slide. There's one, they do sound very similar. So there's one that's called, actually, I'm going to go back. So make sure I get that right. Here we go. All right, so this lists it. It's under national resources, under annual planning resources. So the first one is called Best Practices Guide. That's the one that really reviews the levels one, two, and three, what it means, what the requirements are, kind of like a knowledge type of document. The second one here, the Best Practice Forms, that includes what's here at the right. The forms is where you find the things that you need to fill out. So forms would be where you do, your members, your new members, your notes about monthly meetings. Anything else that would need to be included will be under forms.
Is there a web page form under the annual planning resources? I thought I saw it the other day.
I'm not sure. This is actually a screenshot of like what is there, but just that category of annual planning resources. So I see monthly meetings, member interest survey, gap analysis, competitor worksheet, vision statement, goals and actions, budget template.
I've got two more questions here.
Sure.
Somebody has asked if the first year discount for 2020, is that for 2026 if they've joined, or is that for the current league year?
Oh, good question. I think it would be current league year. I think it would count from kind of starting in 2025 into 2026.
Okay, we can get confirmation on that, but
Yeah.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
And then also with the Apex requirement, is it the total by individual members or counted by how many courses are completed combined? So do you have to have 12 members completed or just 12 courses completed? Can one person complete 12 courses?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll double check that. I think it's number of courses. I don't think that there's a people requirement, but I'll double check.
And Jill Miller has confirmed that the discount is for the league year.
Good. Okay. Awesome.
And Karen,
And it
there's
is the
something
number of
really important in the chat. Happy
Okay.
birthday to you.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. It is. It's coming up. Oh my gosh, next week. I will not talk about numbers, but it's great. It's going to be a very good year, so I'm excited. I think just our last slide here talks about connecting. I'm probably a broken record at this point, but I do want to point to the fact that we're going to be more active trying to connect members and potential members out on social media. So please make sure that you're following. There's two places to follow, actually. There's the ABWA National Organization page. That's where you're going to see a lot of updates from us, things about meetings, and fun things too, where we'll just talk about women's history, women's leadership, kind of what's happening in the world, but also what's happening in our world within our family. And then there's also an ABWA members on Facebook page. That one is where people can kind of connect and share, but you do have to be a member to be involved on that page. So it's kind of like a closed community, which is nice. I do know that there's also district pages. So whatever district you fall into, you can definitely be part of that page as well. And there's a lot of great things shared there as far as meetings or educational opportunities, fundraising, lots of great events happening. So good to be there as well. We do have an Instagram account. We do have a LinkedIn account. We post different content on all of these platforms, but we're really trying to make sure that we're reaching people wherever they are. So if social media is a part of your life, please make sure that we're a part of your interest and things that you follow there as well. And I think that's it. We have maybe a few minutes for questions, but I do want to go right at 8 o'clock because I think we have other meetings that people are jumping into. So we're here for a few more minutes if anybody has any questions.
We do have one more about how do
Sure.
we track the just-in-time attendees because there are no longer certificates. Do they have, I know National's keeping up with that, but how do
Yeah.
they know? How do the leagues know?
I could put that in the FAQs too. I know that that's one that Elizabeth mentioned to me that, we're tracking basically. So we have the information, we can pull that as part of what we would look at for best practices. But it's an interesting question about how the league themselves would know. Let me look into that because I don't know if we need to share that back with people since we're tracking it and we're kind of holding the information now. But I can see that a league might be curious about numbers and who attended, so let me find out an answer for that. But we do have the information as the first piece of that.
I know for Heart of the Piedmont, we just make the person who's doing best practices know that we attended, so she has a list of the people
Gotcha.
who attend. So
Okay.
that's how we're keeping up with it at Heart of the Piedmont.
Okay.
And Karen, can you repost those dates that you shared again?
Sure. Yeah. So these are the deadline dates. Actually, two of these are this week, so we should talk about that. It's the last day, I believe that's tomorrow, for SBMEF applications. These are grant applications. Also, Women of the Year applications are due. And then we have another June deadline, two June deadlines. Oh, league websites as well. That's great. And then July 31st, that's the big one. Best practice applications are due. Think, did we have one more? We had some events too. Again, this is the President's Call just for presidents, current and newly elected. Coffee Connections, that's for everyone. June 17th, especially great for new members. We have another quarters just in time webinar that'll be led by Elizabeth and our national team. And then NWLC begins on September 30th and I believe runs through the Saturday, which I want to say is October 3rd. Well, again, thank everybody so much for coming and attending and being so active in this. We love all the questions. Thank you, Barbara and Anne, for being with me as my experts as well. We are going to compile an FAQ. So all the questions that were asked during this, we will provide definite and double-checked answers for. We'll put that into YM. I'll also put that out in our newsletter when that's ready. So you'll see that come through email as well. And then it will also be posted in YM. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Any questions that didn't get answered tonight. And we look forward to these applications. This is exciting for me because this is my first year. So I can't wait to look through everything and kind of go over how everybody's doing. And thank you so much for being here. Anne and Barbara, do we have anything else?
Just to clarify, the May 15th deadline is for the top 10 application. So yes. I think it says Woman of the Year.
Oh, it does. Yes, it should say top 10.
Top 10 application is May
Yes, yep,
15th.
that's the one. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And we'll see you again soon online. And if not, hopefully I will see you in September in Texas.
Oh, wait, I have one
Oh,
more here. I'm sorry.
sure.
It says the new submission form doesn't have the member loss line on it. So that means we don't need to worry about it.
I haven't, I wonder if they mean that first page of the packet or if it's not anywhere in it at all.
It's the monthly report that I was talking about.
Yes. So are they saying it's not on the monthly report or just that it's not on that first page?
Kayla, I don't know if you can clarify that in
Yeah.
the questions or in the chat.
So Barbara, what I'm seeing is it says it's on the June one usually, not other months.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
And
That's all
and
I
that's
see.
because we're comparing last June to
Mm,
this June rosters to calculate that loss ratio.
that makes sense. Well, all right, everybody. I look forward to posting those answers to all the questions and enjoy your Thursday night, what's left of it. And thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.
Good night, everybody. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Karen.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Karen.